Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, Admiral Prince Eric and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I would like to talk about the upcoming update 30.8 for new ships as well as closed test. We would like to see that inform about some, it's gonna be for is coming up to close for World of Warships 9th anniversary on this year. So I would like to speed through it. But if you want to visit on the dev blog, click down. There's a link down in the description below. So if you want to check it out. So hey, before I wanted to get started about to read entirely, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell notification icon. So let's get started about this. Okay, so new ships close test 30.8 was posted on August 2 at 2 a.m. midnight. Yes, it was that happened at the time when after the World Warships Twitch stream took place in the EU and NA, right? Okay, so I'm gonna read it entirely. Captains, as our anniversary update draws near, it's once again time to reveal upcoming ships. This round includes many torpedoes as well as some long-awaited historical giants. Okay, the first one is a Tier 10 Pan American destroyer La Pampa, a battle-class destroyer built at the British shipyard that could have been purchased by the Argentine government, which sought to strengthen its navy in the post-war decades. Following the Argentine Navy's tradition in the first half of the 20th century to name destroyers after provinces, one of the ships has been featured to be named after region. Yes, the La Pampa is located on the state in Argentina. The ship was named after the La Pampa province, located in the center of Argentina's territory, close to the nation's capital, Buenos Aires. Unlike other battle-class destroyers in the game such as Jutland, La Pampa is geared towards torpedo gameplay. She sacrifices her rear turret for an extra lack of torpedoes, bringing her up to 15 torpedo tubes, rivaling against the legendary Shimakaze. The torpedoes themselves have medium range and a comfortable blend of characteristics. Great concealment will allow her to outspot other destroyers and conduct torpedo attacks from close range. Complementing her torpedo armament is a strong set of consumables. There are torpedo wheel boosters that allow her to put out 30 fish in the water at once. Well, as usually it goes like, for example, is the Pan-Asian Super Destroyer Kunming. While specialized repair teams and smoke generator will give her substantial survivability, while all of her consumables come with a long cooldown time. Combat instructions charged with torpedo hits and spend time undetected can be used to reduce it. Key weaknesses of the ship include a low base hit point pool, a weak main battery, and slow speed with no access to engine boost. In gameplay, La Pampa will function best as an invisible assassin, using her concealment to avoid being spotted and launching devastating torpedo attacks with the aid of her torpedo wheeler booster. While not strongest against enemy destroyers in the direct engagement, La Pampa can outspot most of her teammates and is capable of recovering a lot of the damage taken if forced to engage in a gunfight. The permanent camouflage for La Pampa is still work in progress and will become available at a later date for various sources of World of Warships developers. Okay, so let's talk about the specifications. Hit points is about 18,800. Well, as usually it's gonna be the rivaling hit points like Shimakaze. Plating is 90 millimeters. Main battery is 2x2, 130 millimeters. Firing range is 12.3 kilometers. The HE shell damage 1,700. The chances of crossfire 8%, and initial velocity 746 meters per second. Next, the AV shell damage is about 2,100. However, it's the same velocity just like the HE. The radio time is 3.3 seconds, the sigma is 2.0. The maximum dispersion 107 meters. and 180 degree turn time is about 9 seconds. Next one is the torpedo tubes, consists 3 by 5 533 millimeter. The damage is about 17,500. Range is 10.5 kilometers, but it will cost enough if you like to, that a rivalry against Shimakaze. Shimakaze's torpedo range is about 12 kilometers. So this is getting about absurd. The speed is 66 knots, reload time to 125 seconds, and launcher 180 degree turn time is about 7.2 seconds. Then the torpedo detectability about 1.3 kilometers. Next one, the depth charge is about maximum damage is 5,000. Number of the charges will be 2. The bombs in the charge only 6. The reload time is 40 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about the A defense. The A defense consists 2 by 2 130 millimeter, 3 by 2 40 millimeter, and 3 by 1 40 millimeter. The A defense mid-range continuous damage per second is 137. The action zone is about 3.5 kilometers. The A defense long range is continuous damage per second is 46. The action zone will be 5.8 kilometers. Hit probability 100%. Number of explosions in the sabot would be 2. The damage within the explosion 1,540. And the action zone is about 3.5 to 5.8 kilometers. The maximum speed 34 knots, 30 circle radius 560 meters, rudder shift time 4.2 seconds, surface detectability 7.1 kilometers, air detectability 3.5 kilometers, and detectability after firing main guns and smoke 2.5 kilometers. Alright, for combat instructions, progress per 10 seconds while unspotted is 5%. The progress per torpedo hit is 25%. Time of inactivity before progress loss is about 30 seconds. Next, progress loss per second inactivity is about 5%. The activation effect for combat instructions is about the consumable preparation and reload time is minus 85%. Minus 85%. Duration of this activation is about 30 seconds. Some non-purpose consumables are the following. The first slot is the damage control party. Will be unlimited charges. Next, the smoke generator will be 3 charges. Torpedo reload booster is 2 charges. Then finally, the fourth slot is specialized repair teams. There will be 3 charges. Some asterisks have to say, back on August 2, a fits a mistake in description of La Pampa's main battery guns. The collect power is 2 by 2 for main battery guns. Alright, so let's talk about the next ship. It's the Japanese aircraft carrier Shinano. Yes, I know it's gonna be the histories and the world's first famous Japanese supercarrier. Okay, the largest aircraft carrier of World War II and the largest warship to be sunk by a submarine. Originally built as the third Yamato class battleship, but after the Battle of Midway, it was completed as an aircraft carrier, sunk on November 29, 1944 by a submarine USS Archerfish. Okay, the aircraft carrier was named after Shinano province, one of the historical provinces in Japan, which was the present day the Nagano prefecture. Well, as usual, the Shinano is the peculiar the first supercarrier of its naval history back on the final months of the Second World War, but it still goes on in the Pacific War, as the US Navy wanted to construct a new supercarrier just like that is a Midway. Now, for various reasons about the Shinano though, could be fitted more Japanese planes aboard. This famously well known the Yamato class battleship to be converted to an aircraft carrier though. It was so inexplicably designed. Was made by designers, right? So let's talk about the ship's history. So Shinano was laid down probably in early 1940 though, but it was never decommissioned so far. But The ship was completed about in the 1943 or 1944 or so. But during the trials, however, there is one thing that you should about this talk about the USS Archerfish will be discussed later. Okay, so Shinano went on completion of the construction though. There will be began on trials. But on November 29, 1944, the USS Archerfish under the command of Captain Joseph Engels, whom he was awarded the Medal of Honor that credited to sinking the Japanese supercarrier. As usual, the Archerfish fires a single long-range torpedo will be probably hit at the stern. But you should know about on Wikipedia about the topic is the Japanese aircraft carrier Shinano. Okay, so let's continue for the DevBlog. A truly iconic ship and one of the most unique carriers to be constructed in nearly ready to join your fleet. Reflecting her beginnings as a Yamato-class battleship, Shinano features a drastically different set of features compared to most aircraft carriers. Unlike other aircraft carriers, Shinano behaves similarly to battleships when it comes to fire and flooding, meaning they will last longer but deal less damage per second. Complementing this, Shinano does not feature the typical long-duration aircraft carrier damage control party. It will be last for shorter time but also reloads much quicker. In terms of armor, Shinano features an improved plating, 27mm for extremities as well as an armored deck. However, unlike her sister Yamato, her citadel protection has been weakened during her conversion and is susceptible to enemy battleship fire. In terms of ornament, Shinano features improved secondaries. While she has a limited number of turrets, they feature a highly accurate dispersion pattern similar to that of Grad Zeppelin and up to 11km range when fully buffed, making it a substantial threat to light enemy ships. As for her air group, Shinano features a new plane squadron. The skip bombers armed with armored piercing bombs. While they behave similarly to HE skip bombs in terms of the attack patterns, the AP bombs will lose penetration and lower the army threshold with each skip. So for example, it will be the most effectively hit enemy battleship with first skip. Then, lightly armored ships can be targeted with second or third skip. Her second squadron consists of torpedo bombers. Torpedo bomber squadron is small, with only 6 planes per squad and an attacking group of 3, while skip bombers have 8 planes per squad and an attacking group of 4. Finishing off her aircraft complement is a tactical HE dive bomber squadron equipped with a smoke curtain generator. Similar to her role in history, Shinano's weaknesses include a limited hangar capacity and outdated planes with low HP, but somewhat compensated by her quick hangar restoration time. In battle, Shinano will benefit from an aggressive captain willing to make use of the ship's armor and the tactical squadron's smoke curtain generator to take aggressive positions. Due to the small size and high output strike of Shinano's squads, fast planes cycling from relatively close range is key to maximizing her damage output. Seek out targets which are actively engaged with your teammates, as both regular squadron types perform best when attacking broadside targets. Okay, so let's talk about the specification for the famously Japanese supercarrier Shinano. The hit points is 71,700. Although this is a top tier that would like a similar HP. Unlike her sister ships, Yamato and Musashi, they were both hit points is 97,200. Now, this aircraft carrier Shinano will be hit points is 71,700. The plating is 27mm. Torpedo protection is gets 55%. Unlike her sister ship, Yamato and Musashi will be doing the same. The airstrikes is going to be a 25-second reload time. There will be a one available flight. Number of aircraft in attacking flight will be 1. The range is about 8 kilometers, and the number of bombs in payload will be 1. The bomb damage is about 4,900. The secondary armament consists 8x2 127mm guns. Range is about 7.3 kilometers. The HE shell damage is about 2,100, 8% chance to cause fire, and the initial velocity of HE is 725 meters per second. Next one, the A defense will be 8 by 2 127 millimeters, 12 by 28 120 millimeters. A rockets 35 by 3 25 millimeter, and 40 by 1 25 millimeter. The A defense short range continuous damage per second will be 382. The action zone is 2.5 kilometers, and the hit probability is about 95%. Next, the A defense long range continuous damage per second is 207. The action zone will be 5.8 kilometers, and the hit probability 100%. Number of explosions in the salvo is gonna be 8, and damage within explosion is 1540. The action zone is 3.5 to 5.8 kilometers. Next one is the maximum speed is 27 knots. Just like her sister ships Yamato and Musashi, will be doing the ship speed, but a same one. Turning circle radius is 1200 meters. Rudder shift time 80.7 seconds. Next, surface detectability 14.8 kilometers. Air detectability 12.9 kilometers. The other consumables for Shinano are the following. The first slot is the damage control party will be unlimited charges. The second slot will be used a catapult fighter. There will be 4 charges. Now for the aircraft though is tactical dive bombers. The hit points is about 1710, cruising speed 152 knots, maximum speed 192 knots. Size of attacking flight will be 8, aircraft per squadron will be 8, aircraft restoration time 150 seconds. Detectability range is about 10 kilometers, and number of aircraft on deck will be 8. Next, the bombs payload will be the 1, the HE bomb time. Maximum bomb damage 8,800. Armor penetration is 55 millimeters, and the chances to cause fire 50%. Next one, for torpedo bombers is about hit points 1,670, cruising speed 137 knots, maximum speed 177 knots. Size of attacking flight will be 3. Aircraft per squadron will be 6. Aircraft restoration time will be 55 seconds. Detectability range is about 7.5 kilometers. There will be a number of aircraft on deck will be 9. Torpedoes in payload will be 1. The maximum torpedo damage is about 7,233. Next, the torpedo speed 50 knots. Then the torpedo range is about 5 kilometers. The torpedo arming distance will be 537 meters. Last but not least is the escape bombers. The hit points is about 1,650. Cruising speed 145 knots. Maximum speed 185 knots. Size of the attacking flight will be 4. Aircraft per squadron is 8. Aircraft restoration time is 65 seconds. Detectability range 10 kilometers, and number of aircraft on deck will be 12. Bombs in payload will be 1. The bomb type is using armor piercing. The bomb damage is about 6,800. If getting chances on the escape bombers featuring the AP weaponry is gonna be hit any possible of battleships, aircraft carriers, and cruisers, you will get a citadel damage. Alright, so let's talk about the next one. The USS Archerfish, or simply called it American Submarine Archerfish. Looks like a member of the Balao class destroyer who was famously well known, credited with the sinking the Japanese supercarrier Shinano. So I'm gonna explain about the ship's history will be later. One of the Balao class submarines, USS Archerfish is famous for sinking the largest warship was ever sunk by the submarine, the Japanese aircraft carrier Shinano, which was also the largest carrier of World War II era. Of course, Shinano won't be complete without a Nemesis also being added to the game. The third Tier 10 US Navy submarine to be added. Archerfish features some key differences from her sisters, while Gato heavily relies on unguided torpedoes and Balao is a comfortable jack of all trades. Archerfish will learn heavily into short-range homing torpedoes, while her unguided torpedoes have lower range and damage compared to her sister submarines. While her torpedoes have an individual fast reload, unlike the American submarines, Archerfish will only reload one torpedo at a time for her front and rear torpedo sets. To complement her torpedoes, Archerfish sonar beams travel at a high speed and feature increased sector width, making it easier to land double beams. However, sector duration is greatly reduced. Additionally, while she has a large battery reserve, Archerfish has a very slow battery recharge, encouraging more time to be spent on the surface. As a first for a submarine, Archerfish also possesses combat instructions. This will change while submarines being spotted by enemy ships, but also torpedo and main bombers. Once full, combat instructions activate automatically and provide a substantial reload boost to all of her consumables. Speaking of which, Archerfish complement includes the normal damage control party, hydropone, submarine surveillance, reserve battery unit as well as engine boost. In battle, Archerfish thrives in close-range engagements, guiding in salvos and homing torpedoes with her sonar. Seek out isolated ships and beware of opponents with hydroacoustic search. Short range of her torpedoes will often bring Archerfish into harm's way. The combination of engine boost, combat instructions, and respectable die capacity means a quick getaway can be made. So let's talk about the USS Archerfish. So USS Archerfish is a member of the Balao class submarine. That the submarine was named after one of its fish. The submarine entered commission about during the Second World War in 1943. In 1944, under the command of Captain Joseph Engels, he was credited for sinking the world's largest Japanese supercarrier Shinano, but he rewarded on the Medal of Honor. After the war, the Archerfish continued in services throughout the Cold War years for patrolling its purposes, until she was decommissioned about sometimes in 1970s or 1960s time. Okay, let's talk about the ship's parameters. The American submarine Archerfish. The hit points is about 20,200. Plating 19mm. Die capacity 320 units. Die capacity depletion about 1 unit. Die capacity recharge rate about 0.2 units. The main battery will be 2x1 127mm. Fire range is about 6.5 kilometers. The ammunition is the sap shell damage 1800. Sap shell armor penetration 36mm. The initial velocity is 792 meters per second. Radar time is 5.5 seconds. 180-degree turn time 18 seconds. Maximum dispersion 64 meters. And the sigma is going to be 2.0.
Binabasa mo lang naman yun, dapat magkano ikaw na sarili mong opinion, hindi ganyan.
Now, for the sonar, is the reload time is 8 seconds. Duration of the ping effect on the highlighted sector 15 seconds. Double highlighted sector will be 20 seconds. Ping velocity is about 900. The maximum range is about 9 kilometers. Next, the torpedo tube it will be 10x1 533mm. The homing torpedo will be the maximum damage is about 8,500. Range is about 9 kilometers. Speed is 89 knots. Reload time 25 seconds. Torpedo detectability is about 2.0. The maximum damage threshold from 3 kilometers. Now, for alternative torpedo, the maximum damage is about 40,967. Range is about 6 kilometers. The speed 61 knots. Reload time is about 25 seconds. Torpedo detectability will be 1.6. Then the maximum damage threshold from 3 kilometers. Number of stern torpedo tube loaders will be the 1, and number of bow torpedo tube loaders only 1. The maximum speed is about 33 knots. Maximum submerged speed 16 knots. Turning circle radius 510 meters. Rudder shift time 7.2 seconds. Surface detectability 5.9 kilometers. Air detectability 2.2 kilometers. Then, detectability after firing main gun smoke will be 2.3 kilometers. Next one will be the combat instructions for Archerfish. The parameters are the following. Progress per 10 seconds was spotted is about 4%. Progress per main battery shell hit is about 8%. Progress per torpedo hit is about 2%. Time of inactivity before progress loss will be 1 minute or simply 60 seconds. Progress loss per second of inactivity is about 5%. The activation effect, there will be a consumable preparation reload time is about 90%. The available consumables are the following. There will be a damage control party for limited charges. The second slot, hydropone. It will be unlimited charges. The third slot is a submarine surveillance. There will be unlimited charges. The fourth slot, reserve barrel unit, will be 2 charges. Last but not least is engine boost consumable. There will be only 3 charges. So please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on the game's website. So, any questions about the new ships and close test 30.8? But please put down in the comments below. Okay, so let's move on for the close test 30.8. Alright, the early access to Pan American battleships, operation update, new client battle season, and more. It was posted on August 1, 2024 about 7 a.m. in the morning. Captains, update 30.8 is just around the corner. Let's get into the details of some of the upcoming features you can expect. Early access to Pan American battleships. An update 30.8 brings about early access to the new Pan American battleship line. This line features powerful secondaries up to 234mm, lots of main battery guns, and solid armor schemes. Additionally, they're able to heal up quite nicely after some close quarters combat with the improved repair party that boasts a fast cooldown and restores a higher amount of damage taken. Lastly, you won't want to miss this line's combat instructions, which will improve the range, damage, and reload time of those already impressive secondary guns. Charge now by landing hits with your main battery, and then it's go time. To celebrate the introduction of this line, we are also adding the following content. The Orden E Progresso permanent camouflage for Ipiranga. Well, as you may know about to recognize that, there is Orden E Progresso that was featured the flag of Brazil. And Union White Libertad permanent camouflage for the Los Andes. Por la Razón or La Fuerza permanent camouflage for the Libertad, as well as the Pan American battleship's flag. Now, the permanent camouflages for the above mentioned ships are still work in progress and will be announced in later publications. Now, for Operations Update, we're excited to finally give you more information about Operation Update. We have expanded the list of eligible tiers you can use in certain operations. Starting with Update 30.8, you can use Tier 6 to 10 ships as well as super ships in 6 operations. And of course, we don't plan to stop here. In the future, we will continue updating operations, so follow the news. Following is the list of operations that will be affected by these changes in the upcoming update. Although you might recognize that in these operations so far, but it was never changes on in this update. Because of these changes, matchmaking in the operations will be working according to the following rules. The difference between ships on your team can be positive or negative 1 tier. For example, a tier 9 ship can be placed with a tier 8 to 10 ships. Once you click the battle button, you will be added to a queue that is suitable for the tier you selected. Once a team is assembled in queue, a random operation will be launched. For divisions, the difference between ships cannot be more than 1 tier, in terms of which queue you would enter. That would be based on the highest tier ship in your division. For example, if you had tier 8 and 9 ships in your division, you will enter the queue as a tier 9 division. Operations with tier 9 to 10 ships and super ships have higher tier enemy ships to balance out on difficulty. If you are in tier 8 and are paired with tier 9 ships, you will also face these stronger enemies, but the operations will be properly balanced to accommodate these cases. Next one is the Clan Battle Season 27 ASP. Update 30.8 brings new Clan Battle Season with code name ASP. Ship restrictions. Just like in previous seasons, certain residents of the number of ships specific per team apply in charge battle. Next one is the Nightmare. Restrictions can be set for the entire duration of the season or for specific periods of time. For example, they might be set after the first 2 weeks of season, then replaced with different isolation. Okay, so general restrictions. Only battleships, destroyers, and cruisers allowed, and no more than 1 battleship per team. Now, for restrictions on particular ships, Nebraska, Lenin, and Vladivostok cannot be taken into battles. Limited number of Sherwood, Bayard, and Congress. One team may not have more than one about the 2 message. Limited the number of Sherwood, Bayard, and Congress. One team may not have more than one of these ships in total. Next, limited number of Cossack. The black version of Cossack, Kate and Shao. Last but not least is maps. New Dawn, Trap, Sea of Fortune, Tears of the Desert, Trident, Loop, and Haven. The following rules of all things. Next, the following rules apply for all maps. The number of key areas will be 3, the capture time will be 30 seconds, and scoring and capture points will be 3 points every 4 seconds. Now, for the Brawls update 13.8 will be upcoming. We'll bring 3 Brawls unleashed in different formats. The first round will be the 4 vs 4, tier 9 ships, only battleships can participate, in divisions up to 4 players. Next, for the Brawl 2, there will be a 5 vs 5, tier 10 ships, no submarines or aircraft carriers allowed, no more than 3 battleships, cruisers, and 3 destroyers per team. Divisions of also up to 5 layers. Lastly is the third round of Brawls. There will be a 4 vs 4, tier 8 ships only, no submarine or aircraft carriers are allowed, and no more than 2 divisions. Okay, so in this upcoming Brawls in update 30.8, they will see about that is the Piñata Hunt consumable power-ups, just like whatever they did for that last time. Next, the content additions. Last but not least, take a look at some of the additional content that we are preparing for update 30.8. The Chinese character wool patch. The Chinese character wool patch. To get ready for the Mid-Autumn Festival event, we have also added the following items. The Osmanthus Blossoms under Moonlight permanent camouflage for the Cleveland. Next one is the Osmanthus Blossoms under Moonlight permanent camouflage for the Cleveland, the Dragon Moon Flag, and Blessings from Jade Rabbit patch. With the start update 30.8, German cruiser premium containers, Soviet era containers, and Soviet era premium containers will be automatically open for all players who have them on their accounts. Starting with update 30.9, these containers will receive content changes. So this way, players will obtain the current rewards for the containers before any changes apply. Please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on our game's website. Okay, so that concludes about the World of Warships DevBlog about the upcoming update 30.8 so far for new ships and the closed testing. So I would like to show for this close test 30.8 though, they will be here at the moment during the update 30.7. Okay, so one thing is for sure on the announcement. So we get ready to see about the Dockyard Amarante Okendo at the start of update 30.7 so far. But I will see right now in the World of Warships patch notes on update 30.7 so far will be here on Monday or Tuesday that I will go and make recording. So stay tuned to find out more. Okay, so I hope you enjoy my video to talk about my reactions on the new ships and the close testing so far. So thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell notification icon so I will post my World of Warships contents on every time at any matters for the weekdays and weekends. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you see you in 9bet's video. Peace out guys. We're looking forward to take some evasive action.